Hello, thank you for joining me. So today we're going to continue with the moon through the houses. Today being moon in the third house. So as you know, I'm just going to go through the indications of moon and the third house first, and then we can just talk about the this placement. Remember that this placement that I'm doing is about a moon that's not really being influenced in any way, in a good or a bad way. However, I have to just say, if your moon is situated so it has no planets except the nodes to the right or to the left of it, to the house this way or that way or opposite. So if there is, the moon will be a lonely moon because we don't count the shadowy planets like Rahu, Ketu. So again, the feeling of that will be a bit different. So third house is an Upachaya house. In Vedic astrology, Upachaya houses, which are the houses that give you issues, but they get better with time. So naturally, these houses are a little bit challenging. You really got to put effort, will, and be brave. These are what the indications of this house are. So naturally, when you either the house is ruled, the third house is ruled by a benefic planet, or a benefic planet is sitting, like the moon, in your, like a soft planet really, in your third house, it is going to have some issues. And this will go whether or not it's a waxing or a waning moon, because moon is naturally your emotion. So so all of those make a difference to how you feel. Moon obviously matures at 24, and so things always get better with Upachaya houses. They literally go as each planet gets matured in our chart. Things to do with that planet, or the houses that they rule for us, or the significators for that particular planet do get better. But certainly, third, sixth, 10th and 11th house, which are the Upachaya houses. I think people always think, third house will be fine, house of desires and communication, 10th house or 11th house. But really, I know 6th house is a Dushtana house, so it's always going to give some issues anyway. But remember that if we don't go through challenges, we don't get brave and we don't deal with our lives as we should. So never fear these things. Always kind of, accept that this is what we have to do. And for every planet, every ascendant, these will be different. And obviously because a moon will rule a different house, and also the third house of every ascendant will be different. So some of them, for example, like Aries Ascending, they have a soft house like Gemini for their third house. So Aries Ascending, they come across as though they're quite brave because they're ruled by Mars, but actually they're not very brave. So part of what their challenges in life is that they have to work on third and sixth house, because Mercury rules both of them and it's not friendly to them. So those are the houses that they really need to tackle in order to achieve what they want. Whereas they're not going to be so bad with changes in life, because Mars rules first house and eighth house. So these are the things that it's important for us to know. Like, for example, Aquarius Ascending, they have a harsh house, Aries, for their third house. So naturally, it is going to be like, it's going to give them a bit more they're a bit more brave to do that. But obviously, moon sitting there, moon will be sixth house ruler in the third house. So it is going to have those issues with friends. And anyway, I'll come to that a bit later. So let's just discuss about moon. So moon, we know, is our emotions, how we feel secure, our mum, our home, our deepest memories, our deepest feelings, how we connect, how receptive we are. It's just how we receive, how receptive we are to everything, basically. And then also third house is house of, as I said, house of bravery, siblings, colleagues, neighbours, neighbourhood, travel, skills, learning, thinking process, how much stamina you put into things, how you think, how much hard work you put of everything, how much will you have, how much you want to put into growing as a person, your surroundings, the area that you live in, your communication skills, your expressiveness, how you let people know how you feel. It's your writing, your skills with the hands, because obviously third house rules your hands and arms, and because when you talk, you express yourself. Particularly in some countries, they do that quite well. Your how you're mentally stimulated, how you want to connect with other people, your relationship with your siblings, as I said, how you connect with your friends, emotional or not, how you speak, how mental activity really, mental stimulations, hobbies, interests, and all forms of how you connect with others, like on any social media platform as well. So if you're fast, or when you're like you're not interested, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, for all of these, you need to also look at your third house and third lord and any aspects as well. So it's always like a little bit of a goulash of things going on there. And and obviously, you've got to just see that the significator of third house is Mars, because Mars rules siblings. So there's already an agitation when, because although Mars and Moon are kind of friendly, neutral towards each other, however, Mars is a harsh planet, so it is going to agitate, make people slightly stressed or anxious. And the natural third house of the zodiac is Gemini, and then Moon and Mercury have issues with each other as well. So it's going to be a little bit like it can just be far too much data, because third house is data, information, for the Moon to process, because Moon, obviously, it's not just information to the Moon, it's how they feel about the emotion as well. So this can be a little bit overwhelming going on there. So just wanted to put that out there to let you know. And also from the third house, Moon will be also aspecting the ninth house, so that will naturally kind of get activated as we get older as well. I think probably more after like age 32 to 36, that house can get activated more. So to begin with, you'll be doing a lot, because a Moon is the indicator of travel anyway, and also its third house is travel, and ninth house, long distance travel, so that they will explore the third house things first before they go on to do a lot more of that. So anyway, so just so these people naturally, obviously, they would love to travel, learn new skills, deal with lots of information, connect with friends, they're just literally always thinking about like, oh, what's she doing, shall I and it is like, because obviously third house of natural zodiac is Gemini and Mercury is multitasker. They can have somebody who's like, for example, Mercury Atmakarka. They could have the television on, they'd be on their phone, and they could be sitting next to their partner as well. So they kind of manage all of that. Or they literally can do a lot of things. Doesn't necessarily, depending on how Mercury is placed and everything, but generally speaking, depends how the result of those three things depends on how good third house is, third lord is Mercury, and all of that. Anyway, going back to the Moon, and so we know that Moon is waxes and wanes, so it's never steady like the Sun. So naturally, all things with the third house will be very up and down. So they can be really, really good communicators, really expressive 1 minute, and then they can actually retract. So that is the Moon. It's up and down. You could literally, and the anxiety will be as well. So you can imagine if they're dating, they can be I mean, obviously, depending on their dispositor as well, that will make a lot of difference. So if their dispositor was, for example, Venus, and Venus was in good condition, then naturally it's all different. But for example, if they could get anxious, like things, say they've been on a date with somebody, and they have, that person is at work or in a meeting and they can't get back to them, they could get like, they could send loads of messages, because obviously it's like, I message you and you haven't returned my messages. So there could be a little bit like that anxiety sets in. So I just wanted to point that out. So guys, you know, if you have this, give the other person the opportunity to. That has happened to me actually. I was seeing a chap, and well, you see, he's retired and I'm kind of semi-retired, so I don't really have as much time as him. So when he used to message me, and I wouldn't get back to him because obviously A, I didn't know him very well, so it's very early days, and B, I was busy at the time, so I would return his message, you know, answer it as and when I had time, and I didn't have time at the time. So he would just like message me, and then because he hasn't heard immediately or within so many minutes, and then he would just say, so it would just, in his mind, he would just like think of a whole scenario which is not real, and he would get himself into such an issue that he would want to like finish everything with me, and I was okay with that because okay, you know, so that's fair enough. If that's how he feels, and then he would then message me, if, you know, a day later or something, and apologize for his behavior because he just so. And obviously that was making me feel as though, oh, I don't know, you know. So you've got to make sure that you don't allow something like that to happen, because, you know, from somebody who's received that, you want to just like allow the person and always have grace, because you don't know what the situation with that person is, you know. So particularly if you don't know them, and you know, some people are really good at communication and some people really are not that good at communication. So that's that. I just wanted to just point that out. Anyway, they can be, you know, particularly if this is a great placement, they can be great orators. Literally, they can inspirational speakers. They can be quite skillful. They could be really keen about learning new things, sharing new things. And they can be very friendly. They can really be like, make their friends and their siblings feel really at home. They can be really kind in amongst their neighborhood, you know, always be aware of, you know, I haven't seen my Brenda, my neighbor, for a long time. They'll go knock on the door, make sure they're okay. They're really sweet, you know. So they obviously, and they it does them really good to do all kinds of hobbies, to just be able to self-express as well, because that's such an important part of their journey, that emotions. So when they write, if they're journalists or they write books or they blog or vlog, readers can connect with them, you know, so amazingly that they can actually describe a scene. So you know, because this is bringing together Moon and Mercury, literally in that case. They will be able to really connect you with their work, with their characters of their book. So you feel as though you're having a journey with them, and they do really well to do things like dancing, mercurial things, dancing, singing, amateur dramatics, all those wonderful ways to express. And because they are kind of, Moon is also masses and community, so they could actually they could have a slight bit of fame, you know, even if it's not like massive fame. They could be really within their groups have enjoy a bit of fame status because of that reason. This can be really good. You know, they could be like working in travel industry as well, or write about travel books, tourist information things, wonderful stuff like that. And they like to be connected to people, and they like to be around people, generally speaking. So they just like to be busy and moving, because that is all to do with third house. always on the go, fingers in many pies, as they say in Britain, you know. And so they could be good teachers as a result. So they are normally quite. They could also have chatty mums, or a mum who has got many skills. This gives you many skills in that sense, really, which is absolutely fantastic. So they're continuously also analysing things, analysing situations, stuff like that as well. And they normally like to, at work, have a good emotional connection with their colleagues and things too. Relationship with their siblings as well can be up and down, but they're really quite connected. They're quite sweet. You know, it is, you know, Moon is that lovely feeling, that connection. Obviously, they're curious people, so they want to learn, you know, everything. And obviously, if has got any connection to Gemini or Mercury anyway, they can be quite gossipy too. So they can be into, because this is not really ninth house. This is more to do with third house stuff. So they could be like, they like the gossip columns. You know, this is not for everyone, obviously, depending on how the situation is. They like the gossip columns. They want to know what celebrities are doing, what's the nearest fashion, latest this and latest that too. So they're curious, you know, as such. Mercury, you know, Mercury is curious. So they're always, obviously, they like to chit chat, you know. So, you know, if you have a friend like that, it's lovely because if they haven't heard from you, you know, for a bit, they'll be in touch, and they are caring because they want to know how you are and everything. But they're chatty, constantly chat. So their mother can be chatty as well. And because third house is also 12 houses from the fourth house, these people are naturally constantly changing residence, and that will be quite normal to them. It'll be like water off the duck's back, so they're able to just do that quite easily as well. So, and they are also quite impressionable just because Moon is impressionable. But generally speaking, though, this Moon in the third house, obviously, it's a soft planet in quite a harsh sign, really. I think third house can be quite harsh. So as a result, you know, you have to just bear in mind that they might talk bravery, they might talk the talk, but not necessarily walk the walk, because they are learning how to be brave. They're learning how to express themselves to other people, tell people how they make them feel. And rather than beating around the bush and getting anxious by not expressing themselves, that's the sort of things they have to do in order to, you know, get quality of life. So for an Aries Ascending, Gemini will be their third house. So this will be the fourth house ruler in the third house. So you can see that there is going to be, like, the mother is going to be quite chatty. Moon is not terribly happy in Gemini, so it can give anxiety. So then you need to just, like, not bombard your mind with loads of things to do with information. You know, you don't need to always be on your phone. You don't need to always, you know, like, be anxious that somebody hasn't returned your message, or don't stretch yourself. You know, just be really discerning about how much connection you need to have. And choose who you're around. So, because obviously third house is how you're absorbing other people's energy by being, you know, around people. So you want to be choosy about who you spend more of your time, more of your quality time with. And then for Taurus Ascendant, again, Moon will be ruling the third house. So that'll be quite a nice placement. But generally speaking, Moon in any planet that we have in Cancer, we're going to be, like, quite sensitive about anything to do with that, feel emotional about it. Moon in Cancer, although it's a good position, it's also that person is not brave and they're quite sensitive. I always think that, but you tread carefully with people who've got Moon in Cancer, because they are quite sensitive souls and they can take things personally. Maybe that's what we need to work on, not to take things personally. And then for Gemini Ascendant, Leo, it rules their third house. So they're quite brave because of that very reason, because Sun is obviously, you know, slight malefic, and it's also a friendly position for the moon. So it's pretty good position, really. So it's not too bad, and they can have this aura of pride about them as well, which helps them push through. Then, if you are Cancer ascendant, so is that right? Cancer ascendant. Then your third house will be Libra. So you have to again work at. No, that's wrong. If you're Cancer ascendant, it's Virgo. So again, it's a position that is like soft planet rules Virgo, Mercury. So therefore, actually, I think third, because also Mercury rules third and 12th house. These people really have to work on their third house, be brave, have the will, put stamina and effort into things, because just for the sheer fact that Mercury, A, is not a good planet for Cancer, and B, because Mercury rules 12th house losses. They normally actually are not very good at returning people's messages. They can get a bit anxious and overwhelmed, and this is one of their karmic things, that they can't keep losing friends through not replying and avoiding things, because I think they avoid things to just like, because they don't want to upset anyone, because they're obviously very sensitive. So the more you work at it, the better it becomes, and you collect fantastic friends. I think Cancer ascendants are so lovely anyway, so they're so kind. And then if you have Leo ascendant, Libra will be your third house. And again, it's amazing that you would think that they're quite brave, being like, you know, in third house, being well, just imagining that Leo will be like brave. But, you know, having Moon there is the 12th house ruler in the third house. Again, you know, it can be issues there. And a soft planet in a soft house, and it rules 12th house. So you have to work at that as well. And I can promise you, all the ascendants who, or by placement, if you have that, you know, things get better. It's just that what the universe is saying, you know, I want you to go and have more, but you just have to just put a bit of an effort into it. Once you do it, it's absolutely fine. Then we have Virgo ascendant, which has got Scorpio as third house. So this is completely different. So it's like Mars will give you the will, the power to push through. Moon is actually debilitated there as well. So there could be loss of friends, say 11th house ruler in the third house. You know, so whereas like, for example, with Leo ascending, there's a problem for them, because obviously Venus rules their 10th house, so colleagues at work and learning things at work and stuff, but they can push through because it's their work and they want to have this status, so they can push through. But yeah, so again, you know, they have the will. Virgo ascendants, they can say it, but they can hold on to things as well, and that can actually cause issues with losses, because also Mars rules the 8th house, so it can be a little bit too either holding on to those bad feelings because Moon is debilitated there, or, you know, so you have to work at it to make sure that there is a balance there. But I can assure you, all these things get better with time anyway. And so also there could be like, there's no closeness to siblings, to this, you know, that can be the issue with Virgo. And then Libra ascendant, they have Jupiter in their for their third house. Again, that's ruled by a soft planet, but it's also an expansive planet. So they can be really good orators, or they can preach a lot as well. So that's the thing. I mean, it's amazing that everything can give us good things, and, you know, so because they want the truth is like, you know, their belief system, and they can really, but they will become really, really, if Moon is placed there quite well, because it's also, you know, from their 10th house ruler as well. These are inspirational speakers. If the Moon, you know, if the Moon also, you know, if Jupiter there disposes in good place, and yeah, so they can really be very expansive, because obviously Jupiter and Jupiter signs expand things. And yeah, so and then what we have is Scorpio ascendant has got Capricorn for their third house. So this can be a little bit difficult. You know, Capricorn is kind of quite a limiting sign. It's quite serious. So they're a form of they can be quite sort of serious and quite formal in their manner of talking. But there is actually, because it's Saturn sign, they're a little bit scared as well of upsetting or saying something as well. So that again, but it's also third house and fourth house ruler, so their mum can be like that too. And then we have, I haven't really gone into them in detail, but I mean, for example, Libra Ascending, Jupiter rules their sixth and third house, so they can get enemies through the way they speak. So that's another thing with that expansion of communication with, so anyway. So the next one is Sagittarius Ascending. So Sagittarius Ascending, their third house is Aquarius. So again, it's a very fixed. So these are very fixed on the way they communicate. They want things in a particular way. So, and again, it's Saturnian sign too. So there could be a little bit of, it's not as fear attached to it as Capricorn, but again, it can be quite, because it's natural 11th house of the zodiac as well. So they want to be like big groups, and they want to be connected to their friends, and their friends, they could have a lot of friends. But they're not necessarily close to all of them, but they like to spend a lot of time with them as well. So, and also, so what happens to them as well is like their third house ruler also rules their second house ruler. So they can earn money through their third house friends and groups too. And then we have Pisces Ascendant, their third house is Libra. So again, all those planets that got a third house, a soft planet, their speech can be quite nice. So they can be quite good singers as well. And that's why Leo Ascendants, on the whole, they can sing really well, because they got that beautiful Libra as their third house. So for Pisces Ascendant, they have Taurus as their third house. Again, can have wonderful speech, quite creative. The way they put their word in together and use their grammar is really good. And but obviously, it's not a good planet for Pisces, because it rules their eighth house as well. So they can lose, or they can just be a little bit like indiscreet with their speech as well, just because the planets, Jupiter ruling their first house, and also Venus, they're not friendly towards each other. So, but anyway, it's one of those situations where it gets better with time, and the more you give it time, the better it will be. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.